Hello, this is Athena Jezik. I want to invite you to explore my course, The Foundations of Subtle Alignment. It is going to take you beyond the work of massage therapy. It will take you into the world of the subtle anatomy. Hello, this is Athena Jezik. I know some of you out there haven't seen me for a long time, but I thought I'd come back again and have a little reunion with Karina, and we thought we'd put this all together for you. So I'm going to be doing her back again, and there's some other things I've been up to, so I'll share a little bit as I work with her. But for the most part, I will be doing massage therapy, something that I don't really do much anymore. So I do a lot more subtle work now, and I'm also working with directing energy and a lot more advanced type of skills with the hands. But that's another story. So let's get on with it with Karina, and I will let you know what I'm doing as I'm working her back. Okay, we're going to start by putting the oil on the back. It's been a really long time since we've worked together. Right now in my practice, I do very, very, very little massage. I usually integrate it in with the other work I do because I'm more focused on injuries and also people who have other emotional issues. And with what's been going on in the last couple years, there's been a lot of stress, and what it seems like is they come in for a reboot. So that's nice. It's been a lot of fun to keep encouraging them not to worry too much about what's happening. Try not to stay in stress or be in stress, because that's not good for us. Stay positive, even when things look bad. So here I am. I'm starting here at the shoulders, and I'm going to draw down the neck and open up the shoulders. Oh, Karina, you've got some tight muscles in here. So, yeah, so I'm finding that there's a little crunching and all that going on with her today. There's another one. There's some crepitus going on. And down here. I think Karina is probably the most massaged person in the world. And just spreading these muscles out, these muscles of the back, spreading them out, opening everything up. My techniques are basically the same, but I think they probably changed a little bit. And just riding that back up with the fingers. Opening it up again. And I'm putting a fair amount of pressure in there. Now it's really important for any of you massage people or body workers out there, be sure that you maintain your alignment with your hands and your shoulders and your back, because the work will take you into various positioning, and if you don't have that alignment, you're going to wear yourself out much sooner. This is 35 years now for me doing this. Most people make it about 5 years. If they make it past 5 years, they're probably going to be able to make it. It's a little bit harder work, more demanding than it seems. And I'm just pulling these muscles here. I'll get into it more, but just pulling those muscles away from the spine a little bit, the erector spinae, and back up to the head. Okay, now as I'm going to be going over to the shoulders, and here we're going to be pulling that shoulder long over that bone, over the little acromion process. Take it all the way down. Then you're going to feel the edge of the scapula pretty soon here, so you want to follow kind of the line of the scapula up and over, going over the levator muscle. And then here's where it gets a little tricky, because you're going to be pulling this muscle, but you're going to go over the shoulder and along the blade. And you're pulling, basically this is the trapezius over on this part, but you're going to be going and including the shoulder, the scapula. While we're doing this, I'll be doing it on both sides so you can see a little bit more. And then taking this muscle here and working it, kneading it a little bit more up this way. I'm going a little bit deeper with Karina today because there's some tension that just seems like it needs to be worked out, which is already being worked out here on the shoulder. Okay, and then along the scapula, thumbs. What we can do here is lay the hand underneath the shoulder and lift up that scapula, which has got a pretty good lift, and you go underneath it here. Now if you go with your fingers, so you're curling like that, you can get to the muscle that's right behind the scapula easier. Which is really I think it's a subscapularis. There is muscle lining that bone, and then you can also go around with your thumb, kind of on the outer edge of it, and then up the muscle there too, on top of it, and squeezing it, and also you can misalignment of the
subtle structures is often the root cause of chronic
pulling
pain,
the hand out,
injuries,
and then we're going to
and
brush,
chronically high levels of stress
pull
hormones.
everything down on this side of the body, from the spine over on the right hand side, all the way down to the edge of the hips and the sacrum. So this is like L5S1 right here. We're going to go that far down. Now you're going to take those thumbs and just work along the attachments there, primarily the attachments into the hips and back. The low back is an area where so many people hurt with the low back, and that's an area that we want to be careful of. A lot of disc problems can happen, but there are ways to deal with the discs if you get on top of it before it's really bad, and that is just by giving this some traction. There's a cranial technique that can help pull that out. And I've seen a lot of sciatic pain and different back pain really change dramatically over the course of the years I've been working when I move into that other modality. But oftentimes then too, back pain needs a little bit of muscle work after the alignment is set again. So there's 3 little areas that I go up this. It's the closest to the spine, and then the belly of the erector spinae, and then on the other edge. And then bring it back down. And now my fingers are going right along the spine, and I'm pulling that muscle toward me. And then I'm going to run up again, and this way I'm going to get a little bit deeper into the muscle because it's inviting me in deeper. I'm not forcing my way in. That's one thing that is really important. Never force your way into the body. Okay, and now I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing here. I'm going to start up here and slide the hands down. When I work now, my hands get very vascular for some reason. I don't really understand why. I know that I have a lot of energy running through my hands, When I'm in my own treatment room, oftentimes people on the table can hear a buzzing sound from my fingers, which I have no idea what that is. But I do work a lot more with directing energy. It's a technique that we got in some of the studies I was in. It takes a long time to really know it, that you're able to use it. You have it, but it's hard to detect. And when you do the direction of energy, the physical pressure becomes lighter, and then the energy becomes stronger as you kind of change places with that. Down the scapula, up here, really slowly, kind of pinch through here. I can show a little bit more on this side. Okay, now we're going to slip underneath the shoulder and then lift it up. Here we go. We're going to tuck the fingers in first. Go up the back, up the back side of the scapula, underside I should say. Around we go. A little bit more on the outside, and then coming in underneath this way. Okay, and now we're going to brush everything down, kind of around. You can see a little red where that's where the pressure got a little strong, but that's okay, it's not an injury. Okay, now we're down at the hip again. This is right L5S1. What I've been discovering too through just my practice is it does seem that oftentimes back pain can be increased a little bit if the gut health isn't very good, because the bowels get very full and they'll press against some of the nerves in the back, and sometimes they'll press on the sciatic nerve. But more often than that, it's misalignment somewhere in the body. Oftentimes the whole body is out of alignment, from the sphenobasilar junction down to the cuboid bone. It's not much, it's only out of alignment a little bit, but that little bit of misalignment is critical over time. And the position of the structure will determine the way the function is going to work. So here I'm going to be pulling this back down. It's kind of a kneading technique. And then just bringing it up one more time. Then I'm going to go to the other side of the table again and do the spine work. That'll probably be easier for you to see. So with 2 fingers, you're going to take it on either side of the spine, starting up here at the base of the skull. You don't want to press really deep, but you just let the fingers press into where the body is pushing it back. Then lighten up a little bit so that there's not any resistance in the body. You know, if you go in too deep and too quick, the body is going to push back on you to protect it. Now here you just vibrate down the spine. Which is a really nice feeling. And then you can take the thumbs here and pull it away, pull the muscles really away. Now, because there's been so much work along the spine done, a lot of the muscles are more relaxed, they're softer, and you can get a little bit deeper in there, down, and I can actually feel quite along the bone, the little spine part of the vertebrae. And you just roll those thumbs to push out and keep it feeling, keep it stretching as you go. You want to work your hands in kind of in tandem, so when you're about ready to let go of the other one, the next thumb is starting its job. And then again, I like to go down the vertebrae just to keep those muscles soft. When the back is more relaxed, then the body can move a little bit easier too, just in the gait and the way that we walk. And then this side, we're going to start here. I think I started at the top. On the other side, I don't remember, but we'll do it this way. It doesn't really matter. You just want to be sure that you do the same thing on both sides. But you can make it, vary things a little bit. And then down again. And I'm just going to do then on both sides again the vibration. Yeah, her back is softened quite a bit. And then just spread this out. Okay, and then the next step, I'm going back to this side, is running. I'm going to run the hand down again and then run it up. Now when you run it up, the vertebrae, when you're running it down, the vertebrae kind of overlap. So you're pushing the vertebrae down like that. But when you go up, you're opening it up. It's opening, kind of, if that makes any sense. Just take a look at an anatomy book. That's an easy read because you just have to look at pictures. So I'm going to do this one more time and then bring it upward again. And each vertebrae is able to just kind of open up in a little bit different direction than being pressed in the way that it's designed. And the neck, get the back of the neck on both sides. And then what we want to do is start up here at the atlas and go between each vertebrae. So we're getting the muscles, it's not even muscles, it's more like ligaments, between each bone as we go down the spine. I remember when I very first started out, there was a lady that said she was from Germany, and they did a lot of massage, a long time before we got it here. We did it here, we accepted it here. And she told me that my fingers were going to become little stubs if I kept doing this work. And I'm kind of seeing that take place. This work is a lot of trauma on your hands, and so if you don't keep them in some kind of an alignment, you're going to really hurt them. So be careful of the ergonomics as you work. Down to the, okay, now we're down at the bottom where the sacrum is. I'm going to stretch this out and kind of vibrate as you slide open. This is a very nice feeling. It's kind of a wrapping, but it's also got a little vibration. It's helping stimulate the blood flow, and it doesn't really do much for the lymph, but if the muscles are tight around some of those vessels, that may hinder some of the flow. A lot of this I'm not absolutely sure, it's just that that's what it feels like. And so much of what I've learned, like Dr. Upledger used to say, or he told me one time when I was asking him a question, because I'm not the kind of person that can memorize things very well, and I'm more of a tactile learner. Here we're going to do another vibration. And I told him that I just had a real problem learning all these big names and all that, and he said it didn't matter to him. He said, what I want everybody to really understand is that you get it in your hands and the rest will come. And that is really true, especially with this kind of work. You have to get it in your hands. You can't really learn it from a book. You have to just get in there and see what you feel, practice over and over, and practice makes your skill level much higher, of course. So there's that. Okay, so now there's a technique that I don't use very often, in fact, basically never, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. It's called tapotement. And the way that you do that, so it's not real rough, some people just do this, but I leave my fingers open and I hit, so my fingers, so they're very loose. My hands are very relaxed with that, and I have trouble keeping, I'm not a good drummer, that's for sure. And I don't like to do this really very hard on people, but it does have some stimulating effects, which are nice. And you want to stay off the bone. This has to go with basically being on the fleshier parts of the body. And then from there, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit more. Oh, this feels really good now compared to when we started. She's all soft and rubbery now. There's still a little crepitus there. We could work that maybe face up. And then just ride this on this side. And there's still a little bit, you know, there's just like one little place, because when I started here, there was a lot of bumps. I'm just saying bumps because it was little muscle knots. Now there's just a couple little clicks left, which is more crepitus in nature. That's very difficult to move out of there. And nobody really knows what it is. It seems to me like it's just wadded up connective tissue. Now I'm going to just spread open here and go down to the back, and then I'm going to wrap it up so there's a pull coming upward with everything. Around the neck, and then on the other side. And around the neck. And then there is one more thing to finish off. I'm just going to place my hand here. Now in this, I'm not going to go into a lot of instruction here, but this, what I'm doing with this is I am directing energy along the spine, and I'm just holding the area here. Because of the cranial work, I'm actually getting into the dural tube. So I'm going to just stretch the dural tube as I slowly bring my hand up. This is very interesting because sometimes the feeling under the hand when the energy is being pressed into it like it is, I can feel a lot of muscles releasing even more, and I'm feeling things up here at the neck as well. The body is extremely connected, and we need to start looking at ourselves as organic beings that are whole and connected rather than just pieces of parts of our body that just have their own function and don't really relate to the rest of the body. We need to be organic and just take that up. Slow, there was a big kind of release of something. Sometimes you generate a lot of heat under the palm of the hand because the energy is coming out. And then you can just bend and open. And there we go. Well, thank you so much for watching today. Some of the things, they might have been a little new, they might have been a little familiar. And I just want to say again, thank you. And perhaps I will tell you a little more at some point what I have going on. It's very exciting, so we'll leave it at that. Thank you again. If you've enjoyed the videos that Karina and I have put together over the years, I want to invite you to explore my course, The Foundations of Subtle Alignment. It is going to take you beyond the work of massage therapy. It will take you into the world of the subtle anatomy. Misalignment of the subtle structures is often the root cause of chronic pain, injuries, and chronically high levels of stress hormones. In this course, you will learn about the subtle anatomy and a protocol for assessing and aligning the subtle structures. I've created a free video series that will teach you some valuable techniques for relaxing your clients and an introduction to subtle alignment. Simply join my email list to receive the free video series.